Hi guys and welcome to another Ollie's on the Ball tips video. Now we're up to round 23, second last round, and it's a very close finals race. Many people are saying, it's the closest finals race this century, so in the last 20 odd years. Last week I got 5 out of 9 tips, which wasn't great. I was looking good. I think I was 4 out of 5. And then I don't know what happened, but I think I still did alright. It was not the easiest round to tip. And I got 4 out of 9 Ollie's calls, which is okay, decent. Moving on to the first game, Brisbane Collingwood, 7:50 p.m. Marvel Stadium, Friday night. This game should be pretty good, and it will probably decide who gets home finals or not. Because Collingwood, they're 2 games in front, but if they lose this one, they're only going to be a game clear of Brisbane. So if Collingwood lose in the last round to Essendon, which I know is unlikely, but if they were to, well, they might not be first. And Brisbane, good win last week. Collingwood had a good win as well over Geelong. I think Collingwood will win this game by 11 points, with my Ollie's call that Brisbane lead at 3/4 time. Moving on to the next game, Richmond North Melbourne. Richmond are pretty much out of finals. They've got this game obviously, and then they have Port Adelaide away. A loss to St Kilda, quite disappointing, 36 points. North Melbourne, as in they're just wanting to not lose 21 in a row. They have Richmond and then Gold Coast to Blunston. So maybe next week they might have a chance of winning. 1:45 MCG Saturday. Jack Rewat's last game. I think I'm going to tip Richmond by 22 with my Ollie's call that Jack Rewat in his last game kicked 2 goals. Moving on to the next game, Gold Coast Carlton. The Gold Coast aren't actually not like super underdogs, I guess, because it's at Metricon. Gold Coast, they're out of finals pretty much. They have North in the final round. Carlton, they're nearly locked in. If they win this, they're locked in, and they have GWS in the final round in Melbourne. Gold Coast, 15th. Disappointing loss to Sydney. They were in it for most of the game, while Carlton, good win over Melbourne. They're in 5th, pretty much locked in, as I said. I think they've won 8 in a row now. I'm going to tip Carlton by 39 with my Ollie's Gold Coast kick less than 70 points. Moving on to the next game, Giants Essendon. This is a big game for the 8. Losing, it's going to be tough. Win and you're right in. Essendon, they have Collingwood in the final round, so if they lose this, they're pretty much done for. GWS have Carlton in the final round, so same story for them. Whoever wins this is is right in the mix. Whoever loses is pretty much out. Giants lost to Port Adelaide, got smashed, but it was in Adelaide. Essendon only just beat North Melbourne. Wasn't convincing, but a win's a win. This is 4:35 p.m. Saturday at Giant Stadium, and I'm going to tip GWS with 9, with my Ollie's call Toby Green collects 85 plus fantasy points. Moving on to the next game, Geelong St Kilda. St Kilda, they play Brisbane in the final week. If they win this, they're locked in, but if they lose, they're probably not going to make it. Geelong, they're 11th, 10-1 and 10. I think they play Western Bulldogs, so if they lose here, they're not looking good. First time missed finals in a long time. Saints, good win over Richmond. Geelong, disappointing loss to Collingwood. They were close, but Collingwood just run over the top of them. This should be pretty close, but I'm going to tip Geelong by 15 with my Ollie's call that Jeremy Cameron kicks 3+ goals. Adelaide Sydney, this is another game that will shape the 8. Adelaide in the final round, they have West Coast, so that's a guaranteed win. So if Adelaide win this, they're gonna give it a crack, and they could make 5. Sydney win this, they're pretty much guaranteed. And they have Melbourne in the final week in Sydney, so that should be a good game. At Adelaide Oval, it's hard not to tip Adelaide, and in this game, I'm going to tip Adelaide by 13 with my Ollie's call that Jordan Dawson returns to form with 22+ disposals. Moving on to the next game. Western Bulldogs West Coast, Marvel Stadium, 1:10 p.m. Sunday. Western Bulldogs, they need to win this. If they're coming off a really disappointing loss to Hawthorn, they have Geelong in the final week. So that would be very hard and you wouldn't want to leave it up to that. If they win, they're right in the mix, sitting 8th. But if they lose, it is going to be tough last game. West Coast coming off another loss. As in, wasn't the worst performance against, it was pretty bad to be honest. 101 points. I expected better. I reckon Bulldogs will come out and win by 47 with my Ollie's call that Western Bulldogs lead all game. Moving on to this game. Melbourne play Sydney in the final round in Sydney. If they win this, they're guaranteed top 4. If they lose, Carlton will be on their backs, but they're still nearly guaranteed in. They're still pretty much in top 4. And then Hawthorn, they're looking alright, but they don't have an easy opponent in the last week. They have Freo, but it's at the MCG, so it won't be super tough, but it will definitely be a challenge. But I think Hawthorn can win this, and I'm going to tip Hawthorn by 2 with my Ollie's call that James Sicily is in the coach's votes. Moving on to the final game. Port Adelaide Freo. Freo are out of finals. They have Hawthorn next week, as I just stated. Port Adelaide, they have a pretty easy opponent, Richmond, at home in the last week. So if they win this, they're guaranteed top 4. But they'll be wanting to win both games by a bit to secure a top 2 spot. Their percentage is 111, Brisbane 123. So they need to hope that Brisbane lose a game and they win both, or if they both win both, that they gain massive percentage. So it's going to be close, but I'm going to tip Port Adelaide by 34 with my Ollie's call. Connor Rosie has 22+ disposals. Thanks for watching Ollie's on the Ball and listening, and hopefully you continue listening. Bye!